What's going on, everybody? It's DK with RPM Gaming, where we talk about retro PC and mobile gaming. Hope everyone's doing well today. Do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button to support the channel. Don't forget to stick around at the end of the video for the latest Retro Rewind. Well, it's finally here. The Bluetooth version of my favorite telescopic controller, the G8 Plus. Let's do a little unboxing and review of it. Let's get started. So the G8 Plus comes wrapped in the same quality packaging as the original G8, with a shiny outline of their controller and their quote inside of it: "Beyond boundless, where possibility knows no limits." And there we have the famous red chicken symbol with the protective rings around the thumbsticks. We've got a nice rubber charging cable, USB-A to USB-C, our famous GameSir reflective chicken sticker, with our warranty paper and instruction paper. And now for the main event. Take off the protective rings and accidentally turn on the controller and lift it out of the box. And just like you'd expect, it's every bit as comfortable as the original G8. It also came with another set of the exact same 3 thumbsticks as the original G8 had too. So if you bought that one, now you've got an extra set. This is, of course, Bluetooth and will pair to anything you want to pair it to. The L4 and R4 buttons are comfortable and clicky and well positioned for your middle fingers to rest on. The D-pad and A, B, X, Y buttons are all rubber membrane with a nice smooth glossy texture. The Hall effect thumbsticks have a nice smooth travel to them with the anti-friction ring around them. The shoulder buttons have a nice quiet click, and the Hall effect triggers have a nice travel to them as well. This controller does extend a little bit further than the original G8. And this is everything that's in the box. Here's a comparison of the original and the G8 Plus. You can see the G8 Plus is about a ½ inch bigger. Both controllers have the magnetic faceplates and are interchangeable, so you can do a little bit of customization if you want to. The A, B, and X, Y buttons are also magnetic and can just pop right out, so you can go Xbox style or Nintendo. The choice is yours, and as GameStop says, power to the players. Unfortunately, the purple buttons on the original G8 aren't interchangeable, so you can't mix and match. It'd be a whole lot cooler if you could, though. When you're putting the buttons back into place, it's similar to like when you put your AirPod back in the case. They just snap right in. No need to worry about them falling out because the magnet is strong enough to hold them in place. They're also slotted so they won't be pivoting or turning. The buttons kind of look like they're a little smaller than the original, but they're not. They're both exactly the same size, coming in at 8.8 millimeters. The controller has a nice rubber grippy texture on both sides and the back where your phone will rest, as well as great spring tension to hold it in place. The Nintendo Switch fits well and looks great in the controller. When pairing for the first time, you want to go to your controller settings, change the grip order, and then hold down the button to the left of the M button and the Y button. Then you'll see the little GameSir chicken symbol start flashing red. Now the first time I paired this, it did take quite a while to pair, and I had to try a few times. But then as you can see here, it just paired. I shut the controller off and repaired it a second time just to see if it would take as long, and it paired right up again. So now let's try this bad boy out. Everything feels great, feels smooth, absolutely no lag whatsoever that I can tell. Doing a diagonal test on Super Mario 2, not having any false diagonals, but we'll have to see how it goes later in the Contra test. Nope, none here. Alright, time to try out some fighting games. How about a little Killer Instinct? Let's see how we hit those diagonals on this. Take that, and that, and that, and woo! And as my dad used to say, work team. For all you youngsters out there, that's the same thing as got him. I'm sure you guys already know, but pressing the red chicken button is the same thing as pressing the home button on the Switch. And when you put this thing to sleep, as long as the controller is paired, you can wake it back up with the controller by hitting the red chicken button. Now let's test that spring tension on the controller. This is my daughter's iPad. It's about 10 inches for reference. As you can see, it holds it securely in place. So you could even play the vertical arcade games with an iPad like this on this controller if you wanted to. Next up, here's the Nintendo Switch being held by the controller. Still firmly and securely held in place. Like I said before, this thing has great spring tension, and that Switch ain't going nowhere. Next up, let's pair it to an iOS device. With the controller off, hold down the button to the left of the M button and the right face button. The GameSir chicken symbol should start to flash blue. You can see here that it is flashing blue, but it's not rapid. If this happens, press and hold the Bluetooth button located on the bottom of the controller by the charging port until the chicken button is flashing blue rapidly. Once this happens, it should show up as DualShock 4. Select it, and then it should pair. Once it's paired, you'll have a GameSir G8 Plus option pop up as well. Select this option, and it will ask you if you want to pair. So like Nike says, just do it. I'm not really sure why it asks you to pair twice, but it does the same thing on the Steam Deck. But the chicken symbol will turn an amber color once it's paired. And now let's try out the Contra test made famous by Russ over at Retro Game Corps. And it looks like it's failing the Contra test, even though I didn't have any false diagonals on Super Mario 2. But I think you'll still be pretty good playing Contra. You can hit the diagonals whenever you want to. Oh yeah, come get some. And in the words of Arnold, "Get to the chopper!" Okay, no need to yell about it. I'm going. Hey, wait a minute, I don't remember any chopper being at the end of this bridge. So here's the G8 Plus in comparison to the Scuff Nomad controller. They're both great Bluetooth controllers and both have Hall effect thumbsticks. The Nomad's definitely more compact, but to me, the G8 Plus has a more comfortable ergonomic feel, and the thumbsticks are a little tighter, and it definitely has a lot more spring tension than the Scuff Nomad. I mean, on that spring tension, there's really just no comparison. As you can see here, the Nomad just doesn't have the same grip that the G8 does. I think it's safe to say when your phone is in the G8 Plus that it's not going anywhere. When pairing to the Steam Deck or any device really, you can just hold down the Bluetooth button on the bottom of the controller until the little chicken button starts to flash really fast. Once the Steam Deck recognizes it, it will show up as a wireless controller. And then, once again, as G8 Plus. I'm still not exactly sure why it shows up twice, but I just paired them both just like before. Once I did that, I had to head on over to the Quick Settings menu and then scroll down and select the controller before it would let me actually use it. Once I selected it, it took a little bit and cycled through a couple of different colors on the controller, and then it finally paired with a baby blue color. I'm not sure if this is just a first-time setup deal or if something weird's going on with my controller or something, but it worked after that. This is Doodling's Arcade Sports Ball. It's $4.99 on Steam. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. It's made by Gardner Bryant. It's really fun to play with family and friends and can get pretty competitive. You can check out Gardner's channel on YouTube for all the latest in Linux gaming. Under the Bluetooth settings, the G8 Plus wireless controller selection has the option to wake the Steam Deck, whereas the GameSir G8 Plus selection doesn't. The first time I used the G8 Plus to put the Steam Deck in sleep mode, it did wake it back up, but it did not pair back to the Steam Deck. I ended up having to shut the controller off, and then when I turned it back on, it paired to it automatically. After this, it didn't have any trouble staying connected, and the second time that I put it to sleep, it woke back up and stayed paired to the Steam Deck. After that, I didn't have any problems with it. When I got it, the battery was about 90%. I've used it pretty frequently for about 4 days now, and the battery is just now at about 79%. And this controller does have rumble motors on both sides too. The original G8 has been dethroned, and this is my new favorite telescopic controller, the G8 Plus.
Latest Retro Rewind.
The latest Retro Rewind is WCW vs. NWO World Tour, coming to us from all the way back in December of 1997 on the Nintendo 64, and was the console's second best-selling game. World Tour was developed by AMSIC Ace Entertainment and the AKI Corporation, and was published by THQ. This game was released at the peak of WCW's dominance in the pro wrestling scene, and set the standard for wrestling games at that time. Its grappling system has been the blueprints for countless wrestling games since its release. WCW vs. NWO World Tour had a development budget of $1 million and received solid reviews. official Nintendo magazine gave it 86%. Nintendo Power gave it 7.9 out of 10. The game's attacks consisted of strikes and grapples, both having strong and weak versions depending on whether you tap or hold the corresponding buttons. Beating up your opponent, of course, increases the spirit meter at the bottom of the screen, eventually reaching special status, where you can then unleash your signature move for maximum damage and go in for the 1-2-3. At the time this game was released, it was absolutely amazing in my opinion. Of course, the environment in which you play a game can increase the value of it. I have so many fond memories of sitting around the TV with 3 buddies and having battles for hours at a time. Nintendo 64 was a powerhouse system, but multiplayer games like this is what made it so great. Talking trash while throwing one of your buddies outside of the ring and introducing them to what we called steel biscuits, aka a chair shot, is particularly a fond memory I have with this game. So lace up your boots, hit your theme music, and start handing out steel biscuits in WCW vs NWO World Tour, only on Nintendo 64. Alright everybody, that's a wrap for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think about the G8 in the comments, and about the retro rewinds, what you might like to see on that, or if you even like it. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to support the channel, and we'll see you next time on RPM Gaming.